ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. The fourth book of the Torah is called, in Hebrew, Bemidbar, in the desert, because it speaks about the 40 years that the Jews spent in the desert from the time that they left Egypt until they entered the Promised Land. But in English, the name is Numbers. Why is the name Numbers? Well, there is a tradition in Judaism also to call it Numbers. The reason is that twice there is a census taken of the Jewish people. Very interesting. You know, when they leave Egypt, God orders Moses to make a census of the Jewish people according to their names, according to their families. In other words, each one had to be counted individually as a human being. And they come up with a certain sum. I think there were 600,000 males that came out of Egypt, and the estimate is probably around 3 million Jews came out of Egypt at that time from slavery. So it's very important to know with how many people you count. Why? In case of war, in case of certain social action, in case of food, whatever, you have to know how many people there are. But it says also in the Torah, very interesting, that when they rested and didn't travel, they also grouped in different positions according to the tribe. Each tribe was situated separately, and each one had a flag, a distinctive flag of that particular tribe. In the middle was the Mishkan, the tabernacle, that holy house of God that our ancestors built in the desert. And around this tabernacle were all the other tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel. So in a sense, you have a census taken individually, but you also have tribes, each one with their own flag, and you also have the centrality of the Mishkan. What is the message that I derive from that? You know, when you take a census, in a certain sense, you become one of many. How many inhabitants does the United States have today? I think 350 million, 330 million, something like that. You're one of many. China, 1,400,000,000, something like that. What do you mean you count? You're one of 1 billion people. You're really nothing. So in a sense, there is this constant juggling between the worth of the individual, the importance of society, and how do you contribute to the welfare of everybody else. So I think you have here in the description of the Torah some kind of compromise. You have a census of each individual, but you also recognize that each tribe has its own aspirations. If you belong to a tribe, you have certain principles that have to guide you. You have a flag. And above all, in the middle is the Mishkan, is the tabernacle of God. That, in a sense, unites all the people with a certain mission in the world. I think nowadays, there's too much emphasis on the individual. Me for myself. How do I feel? Are you realizing your own potential? Everything is about the individual. And you see that a flag nowadays doesn't mean much in many a country. That the national anthem doesn't mean much in many a country either because of this emphasis on the individual. I think we have to go back a little bit. On the one hand, the importance of the individual, but on the other hand, we cannot minimize the importance of society. The strength that you have in union, there are many things that you cannot do for yourself. Can you build a hospital by yourself? Can you build a school by yourself? You can't do these things. You need the cooperation of many people, but on the other hand, you don't want to lose your individuality. On the other hand, you want to make sure that you have a name, that you are unique, that you are different from everybody else. The Talmud says, כמו שפרצופיהם של בני אדם שונות, כך דעותיהם שונות. Just like the faces of human beings are different, so their ideas, their minds are also very different. Each one of us is an individual. Each one of us has a certain conception of God. Each and every one of us has a certain duty in society. But on the other hand, we need the cooperation of other people because we cannot live alone. God sentenced that in the very beginning. Lo tov heyot ha'adam levado. It is not good for man to be alone. I am going to make him a helpmate. Man needs somebody next to him. A woman needs somebody next to him. We all need each other. So let us remember, you cannot lose your individual personality. But on the other hand, you cannot be just for yourself. Keshe'ani le'atzmi, this is why Rabbi said, if I am only for myself, ma'ani, I lose myself also. I become nothing. I am part of a whole. But I must remember that I have individuality, aspirations, talents, and I have a certain promise, a certain goal that I have to achieve in life.